It is extremely interesting to notice here that they erected at the chief entrance of that huge enclosure a rather large of course in comparison with the size of their presences, stone statue called Sphinx, which strongly reminded me of the statue I saw on my first descent in person to your planet in the city of Samlios, just opposite the enormous building belonging to the learned society Alden, and which was then called the chief cathedral of the society Alden. The statue I saw in the city of Samlios, and which greatly interested me, was the emblem of this society and was called Conscience. It represented an allegorical being, each part of whose planetary body was composed of a part of the planetary body of some definite form of being existing there, but of the parts of those beings of other forms who, according to the crystallized notions of the free-brain beings there, had to perfection one or another being function. The main mass of the planetary body of the said allegorical being was represented by the trunk of a being there of definite form, called Ball. This ball trunk rested on the four legs of another being existed there, also of a definite form, called Lion, and to that part of the ball trunk called its back, two large wings were attached similar in appearance to those of a strong bird being breeding there, called Eagle. And on the place where the head should be, there was fixed to the ball trunk by means of a piece of amber, two breasts representing in themselves what are called breasts of a virgin. When I became interested on the continent Atlantis in this strange allegorical image, and then inquired about its meaning, one of the learned members of the great society of men beings explained it to me as follows. This allegorical figure is the emblem of the society Alden, and serves for all its members as a stimulus constantly to recall and awaken in them the corresponding impulses attributed to this allegorical figure. Further, he continued, each part of this allegorical figure gives to every member of our society in all the free independently associating parts of his common presence, namely, in the body, in the thoughts, and in the feelings, a shock for corresponding associations for those separate cognizances which in their totality can alone give us the possibility of gradually getting rid of those undesirable factors present in every one of us, both those transmitted to us by heredity as well as those acquired by ourselves personally, which gradually engender within us impulses undesirable for us, and as a consequence of which we are not as we might be. This emblem of ours constantly reminds and indicates to us that it is possible to attain freedom from what I have mentioned only if we compel our common presence always to think, feel and act in corresponding circumstances according to that which is expressed in this emblem of ours. And this emblem of ours is understood by all of us, members of the society Alden, in the following way. The trunk of this allegorical being, represented by the trunk of a ball, means that the factors crystallized in us and which engender in our presences the impulses maleficent for us, those we have inherited, as well as those we have personally acquired, can be regenerated only by indefatigable labours, namely by those labours for which among the beings of our planet the ball is particularly fitted. That this trunk rests on the legs of a lion means that the said labour should be performed with that cognizance and feeling of courage and faith in one's might, the property of which might is possessed among all the beings of the earth in the highest degree by the possessor of those legs, the mighty lion. The wings of the strongest and the highest soaring of all birds, the eagle, attached to the ball trunk, constantly remind the members of our society that during the said labours, and with the mentioned inner psychic properties of self-respect, it is necessary to meditate continually on questions not related to the direct manifestations required for ordinary being existence. And as regards the strange image of the head of our allegorical being, in the form of the breasts of a virgin, this expressed that love should predominate always and in everything during the inner and the outer functionings evoked by one's consciousness. Such a love as can arise and be present only in the presences of concentrations formed in the lawful parts of every whole responsible being, in whom the hopes of our common Father are placed. And that the head is fixed to the trunk of the ball with amber, signifies that this love should be strictly impartial, that is to say, completely separated from all the other functions proceeding in every whole responsible being. In order, my boy, that the sense of this latter emblem put into the material called their amber may become quite comprehensible to you, I must add that amber is one of those 7 planetary formations in the arising of which the omnipresent active element Okidanok takes part with all its 3 separate independent sacred parts in equal proportion, and in the process of planetary actualization. These intraplanetary and surplanetary formations serve for what is called the impeding of the independent flow of these 3 localized independent sacred parts. It is extremely interesting to notice here that they erected at the chief entrance of that huge enclosure